welcome our next speaker. Is the CEO of Borealis Mining Company, Kelly Malcolm. So give him a round of applause, please.
Thank you.
It's a Canada-based company, but focused in Nevada, if I understand it correctly.
You do.
And you're aiming to become a mid-tier gold producer by reopening the Borealis project.
Yes.
Yeah, so that should be very interesting. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. I feel like I'm giving a TED Talk with my microphone on. This is my first time in Stockholm. It's beautiful. Thank you for your attention.
Very interesting.
We've got quite an interesting story in Borealis. We own something that is able to take advantage of the all-time high gold prices. In fact, on Monday of last week, we announced our first production from the Borealis mine site. So we are actually selling gold into these all-time $4,000 historic highs. We are one of the few companies with a market capitalization under $500 million Canadian that is able to do so. And in fact, we're trading below $150 million Canadian. So what we'll do is a very high-level overview of the company today, looking at our main Borealis project, looking at our development asset that is very, very levered to the price of gold. And really what I want you to take away from this is our overall vision for growth of the company. We've put together a fantastic vehicle. It's newly listed. It's only been on the stock exchange since August of 2024. And we've accomplished a lot in that short time. And I'm looking forward to the growth projection of the company in the years to come. This will be exceptionally forward-looking, so please be mindful of that. What we're looking at here is us taking advantage of the revenues, of this historic gold price. This is physical gold being poured at our fully permitted, fully built, fully operationally ready facility. We poured about 970 troy ounces of gold on Monday of last week. We will be consistently pouring gold going forward on a regular basis. Right now, we're pouring from production of a stockpile of historically mined mineralization. We're crushing it, we're stacking it onto our heap-leach pad, again, all permitted, and it ends up going through our permitted plant where we can pour this doré. What we hope to do, and we will announce to the market in the near term, is full resumption of mining. So that's blasting material from our open pits, again permitted, and shipping them to our crusher, putting them through our heap-leach pad, and consistently and continually generating revenue. And it's quite exciting. And as mentioned, we're one of the few companies at this conference that is actually able to fully take advantage of this market. So the overall investment thesis here is we are jurisdictionally very, very low risk. We're focused on Nevada, which is constantly rated one of the top mining jurisdictions globally. We have a 100% owned, fully built, fully permitted project and recovery facility. We are actively pouring gold. We've also got some wonderful exploration potential. I will not focus on that today, but if you'd like to speak to me about it, I'm just outside or at cocktail table number 4. And we put together a really, really strong team in this company, along with an exceptional shareholder base, all of which we'll go through shortly. We've got 3 different stages of assets. We've got the fully permitted Borealis mine site with about $70 million US of existing infrastructure, historical 1.8 million ounce measured indicated resource from a 2011 pre-feasibility study. We bought that for $5.1 million US 2.5 years ago. We have the permit ready or development asset called Sandman. We bought that in March of this year for $7 million US. It's got, at $3,000 gold price, an NPV of better than $420 million US. So we look for good deals. We've acquired some really wonderful transactions, and we're now ready to execute. The structure here, there's about 128 million common shares outstanding, market capitalization of about $150 million Canadian. We have plenty of cash. Our second last press release announced the raising of $9 million through the exercising of warrants. So we are fully funded to restart the Borealis mine and advance the company going forward. We've got a very, very strong group of shareholders here. Myself, at about 4% or so, I own about 4.5 million shares. The balance of our management team has a significant position as well. Billionaire Mr. Rob McEwen, who is at the conference, is our biggest individual shareholder with 14% of the company. Eric Sprott, also a mining legend and mining billionaire, 10% of the company. A very strong institutional basis as well, and very supportive retail shareholders. And a little bit of the transactions at the bottom of the screen. Again, we look for deep value. We bought Borealis for $2.8 per ounce, and we bought our Sandman project for $13.5 per ounce, and that was only a few months ago. The team, I'll just touch on very briefly, but it is an essential part of our story. Our chairman, Mr. Bob Buchan, built from a private entity through the public listing process with a few small assets. He built Kinross Gold Corporation, which is now, or when he retired, was the third largest producer of gold globally. Greg Gibson previously ran Eric Sprott's private mining company called Sprott Mining, where they operated the large Jarrett Canyon mine in Nevada. Richard Patricio, co-founder of Next Gen Energy, which is the best mineral deposit on the face of the earth, bar none. Christina McCarthy previously operated and worked with McEwen Mining, i-80 Gold, and myself, I was prior to this with a company called MX Exploration, which will be a future mine. But really the first few directors I mentioned have built multi-billion-dollar, significant global operation mining companies, and they're looking to our team and our board to try to do it again with Borealis. So briefly, Borealis historically produced over 600,000 ounces through the 1980s. It was a highly successful operation. It was fully rehabilitated, in 1992, and then rebuilt in the early 2010s. There was some financial difficulty at that time. It went on hiatus for 10 years, but essentially the mine was built, put on hiatus. We came in as operators, so everything is in great working order. As mentioned, large historical resource here, 1.8 million ounces at 1.28 grams per ton, and we are operations ready. So location-wise, we're 20 minutes from a town called Hawthorne, Nevada. Hawthorne, bizarrely, is the storage site of the vast majority of the U.S. military's ammunition. It's a huge military base, but it has plenty of workers, lots of labor, and there's some significant mining companies surrounding us, including Hecla, and also a joint venture between Newmont and Headwater Gold. This is a snapshot of the mine itself. It's large. There's a number of historic pits. We intend to resume mining from those existing open pits in the near term. We use a very conventional heap leaching and ADR setup, which is adsorption, desorption, recovery, or refining. This is a very conventional system. If we want to expand our production, it's a bolt-on type project. We just add additional components, don't have to rebuild the whole thing. This is a snapshot of our actively producing heap leach pad. This is, for those that aren't aware of the heap leaching process, you allow nature to do some of the work for you, oxidize the minerals in your existing ore, and then you can readily treat it with cyanide and a dilute cyanide solution outside, bring down your CapEx, bring down your OpEx, and it really simplifies and lowers the cost of gold production. I won't go into exploration in much detail because we don't have all that much time, but there are some really lovely exploration targets, wonderful historical results on this project. I'm an exploration geologist, and that's actually what got me first excited about the project, was the prospect of growing it beyond the existing historical production and existing historical resource base. Just for a quick look, I'm not sure exactly, oh, there we go. All of these different dots represent areas outside of the main mine trend that have potential for additional growth. So there are genuine targets for us to start testing. We can talk about those outside of this presentation. Great historical results, including some of our own drilling in there. Again, check our website or come see me afterwards. The only really detailed geological thing I'll bring up right now is this is a high sulfidation epithermal gold deposit. What's really exciting to me about it is it's a very, very young gold system. So with the previous company I was working on, we were working on 2.7 billion year old rocks and mineralization. This is a 4,000 to 5,000 year old gold system. The reason that matters is that you can find the feeders and the mineralizing pathways into these different gold deposits and have the potential to identify some very high-grade mineralization below the existing gold deposits that in today's gold market become more and more attractive. So our development asset has been getting a lot of attention lately owing to how levered it is to the price of gold. So as mentioned, we bought this in March through the acquisition of a company called Gold Bull Resources. We paid roughly $7 million all in shares for the company. It's got a very small resource, only 433,000 ounces of indicated gold at a pretty good grade for Nevada, 0.7 grams per ton. It's about 220 miles north of our Borealis mine, but the reason we bought it was not for the resource base, not even for the exploration upside. We bought it for the PEA study that was done. So in 2023, they put together an economic study. The reason I loved it is I don't want to have to dilute myself very much. So this was a very low CapEx project. It showed $31.5 million US pre-production capital. That delivers an arguably small gold mine, 35 to 40,000 ounces a year. However, when you couple it with Borealis, you look at how little equity you'd have to issue to deliver that, it became very attractive. And one of the reasons that the pre-production capital was so low is that they looked to use an external ADR facility, which Borealis already owns, so we can process the mineralization from that project at our existing mine site and bring down future cash costs. So that this was envisioned to be a 9-year mine life, 35 to 40,000 ounces a year, low all-in sustaining costs, very simple project, but again, not big. However, what is really intriguing people and myself and our team about it is the leverage to gold. So at $1,800 gold, when the study was done, it showed an NPV of $121 million post-tax and an 81% IRR and about a year's payback period on initial investment. At $3,000 gold, for an asset that we paid $7 million US for, showing better than $420 million NPV post-tax, better than 215% IRR post-tax, and a payback period of about 3 months. So really, really intriguing for us. We're currently working on updating the PEA at the moment. That should come out in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And we're looking to advance this quite rapidly. I am running a little bit out of time here, so I won't go again into exploration, but there are some wonderful targets on this project as well, with some historical, very, very nice grades and widths of drilling. And I think with that, I'll leave it to questions and just focus on the production, but we are outside, we're over here in the booth, and I'd love to chat, so please come say hi.
Thank you, Kelly. That was very interesting. You are becoming a producer by, let's say, reopening old mines, so to speak. Do we have any spontaneous questions here? Because from your presentation, I understand that you're fully funded.
We are fully funded to restart the Borealis mine, yes.
But are you fully staffed?
We are going to utilize contractors. So one of the things that we started looking at when the gold price started running about a year ago was let's get this thing going as quickly as humanly possible. So we're looking to use all contractors to start the mine. So they'll bring in their own staff. We've got a staff of about 24 people in total across the company right now. Most of that are on site at the Borealis mine.
And I'm looking around here because otherwise I'll just hijack the meeting here. But Nevada as a jurisdiction, it used to be, the gold mine state. Could you mention a little?
Well, it was actually called the Silver State through Nevada because of the Comstock mine in the past. But it has delivered, I think if you look at it as Nevada as a country, it would be the 7th largest national gold producer on its own. So they're very, very keen on mining. Every town is a mining town. It's a very, very mining-friendly jurisdiction.
And you're now focused on the Big Balls project. So you got your, you got your hands full, so to speak. Is there a risk that you get a little bit distracted here, or?
Yes, but we are very much focused on right now getting this development going. We're looking to add to the team as we're always looking for good people. We are also, I didn't bring it up, we're also looking at mergers and acquisitions opportunities. This Sandman or Gold Bull transaction was a massively accretive thing for shareholders. Yes, it takes time, but it's worth the effort if you can find opportunities like that elsewhere in the market.
It was too good to turn down.
It was too good to turn down, yes, indeed.
And you mentioned that the next week or so there will be. Basically, what I'm after is what's the next news we should be looking for? Is it a PEA or?
So there's a few. The two bigger catalysts will be the announcement of the date of or the planned start date of full resumption of mining. So people can look forward to that in about the next 3 to 6 weeks. Updated PEA in about 4 to 6 weeks as well. So we've got a very busy fall or busy Q4. Can also look to updates on gold production. We should be doing our second pour here in the next week or two. And I think that's lots for the next few weeks.
Yes, you had a busy year and you're ending on a busy quarter. McEwen, thank you so much.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.